me make sure everything's set up right. All right, here, I'm gonna share my screen. Can I get a thumbs up if everybody can see that? All right, perfect. We'll get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Max Shine. I am Southwestern class of 2022. I'm a junior. I'm majoring in political science. I am minoring in environmental studies. And outside the classroom, I am chair of Student Philanthropy Council. I'm Kappa Sigma's Grand Master of Ceremonies and a whole bunch of other things. And I'd like to tell you all about Southwestern University's tales and traditions. In 1840, the first of Southwestern's four root colleges, Reutersville, was born. Southwestern celebrates February 5th, 1840, as the date granted the original charter to Reutersville College as its charter day. For 2.5 years, the combined schools were known by another name, Texas University. In October of 1873, Southwestern University, then known as Texas University, opened its doors for the first time to 32 young men. For 2.5 years, the school operated as Texas University before the state requested the name for another state-run school they had planned to open. And I forgot to mention that, well, we'll have a Q&A after the presentation is over, and we'll try and answer any questions, and we can have a conversation about everything we talked about here. So save questions until the end, but because I can't see the chat because I'm on another page, but y'all feel free to use that, and and at the end you can ask questions either on the chat or you can unmute yourself, but I'll let you know when that is. Not only was Southwestern the first institution of higher learning in Texas, but over the years we have experienced a few other firsts. The first homecoming on record, we defeated UT Austin in the first college baseball game played in the state. 3 of the first 5 Rhodes Scholars in Texas were Southwestern graduates. The first student literary journal in the state was founded here. And the nation's first chapter of Alpha Chi was established in 1922, growing out of a scholarship society. And our motto is non quis sed quid, in English, not who, but what. Southwestern's core purpose is to foster a liberal arts, there we go, just changed. Core purpose is to foster a liberal arts community whose values and actions encourage contributions towards the well-being of humanity. We hope to reach this core purpose by holding true to our core values. Francis Ashbury Mood, the first president of Southwestern University, designed this seal. Today, the seal is used only to identify Southwestern on official presidential and academic communications, like commencement. And permission is required to use this seal. The best known seal on our campus is right in front of the chapel. The word is that if you walk over the seal in front of the chapel before you graduate, you won't graduate in 4 years. Although I've known quite a few people who've done that and graduated in 4 years or less. So, but I'm not willing to test it out. Southwestern University held the first homecoming on record, Wednesday, April 21st, 1909 in San Gabriel Park. Former students raised funds, provided homes, prepared and served a barbecue dinner, and decorated the town buildings. Dr. Pepper donated 1,200 bottles of their soda, and I have a little note here that says, due to COVID-19, this year's homecoming will be held in April 2021. And I think that's really, really nice that we're doing it again in April, because it's usually, and we'll have it again in October. There's another homecoming in person. But I always ask where's the Dr. Pepper now? And about our mascot. So how did Southwestern get the mascot of the pirate? The pirate mascot was first claimed by Southwestern November 14th, 1916, in an article titled "Pirates Appropriately Christened" in the school newspaper, The Megaphone. The article shared that the Southwestern football team had defeated Texas Christian University on Friday, November 11th. That evening, the football team members enacted a piratical raid, stealing the young ladies from the annex with their permission, and disturbing the peace-loving element of the community by their general hilariousness. It came as a shock and surprise to the unsuspecting students as they had gathered around the great fire celebrating the victory with song and yell. And so the pirate mascot legacy began at Southwestern University. One other tradition is a Christmas tradition, candlelight service. It's been going on for over 106 years, and it's a highlight of the fall semester. The service of lessons and carols welcome students, faculty, staff, and even alumni and community members to come together in the Lewis Perkins Chapel for a candlelight lesson and carol service. Following the second service, all are invited to a holiday reception in Bishop's Lounge with hot chocolate. I guess not this year. Sing pits organization against organization on a field of play that everyone enjoys, musical theater. Groups spend months preparing and rehearsing for this highly anticipated competition. Any organization on campus may enter Greek and non-Greek alike. I know that this year's Sing is tomorrow evening. I'm super excited. My fraternity put together a musical rendition of the lives of one of our favorite campus cats who's sadly no longer with us. And here's Monstrance, entitled Monstrance for a Gray Horse, is the full name for the statue, often referred to just as Monstrance. The artist, James Accord, spent more than 10 years carving the statue by hand. He said that it was designed to be an artistic examination of the meaning and impact on humans of nuclear technology. He originally wanted to put a canister of live nuclear material in the sculpture, and he became the only private individual in the world to obtain a license to handle such material. In the end, he was unable to obtain the nuclear material and wanted for his sculpture, and so instead he placed inside of it crushed up fiestaware because it's slightly radioactive. One of my favorites is late night breakfast. This favorite student tradition is held each fall and spring during finals week as a fun way to let go of stress. Faculty and staff members cook and serve food for free. There's karaoke and just hanging out with friends. So you can hang out with your everybody you love before the semester ends. During the graduation ceremony, those with Southwestern rings may turn their ring outward so that the seal is clearly seen by all you meet as evidence of your achievement and as a symbol of the lifelong Southwestern experience. Southwestern students may receive a Southwestern ring in their junior or senior year if they've completed 75 credits or more. I've completed more than 75 credits and I don't have a ring. We'll have to get on that. University Relations hosts special events for seniors the week of commencement, such as senior brunch, grad cap decorating, tower signings, and of course, commencement. I, for one, am looking forward to senior week next year. Since the early 1900s, Southwestern students have added their names to the historic wall of the Cullen Tower. Today, graduating seniors who've made a gift their senior year climb the winding metal staircase to add their names next to fellow alumni. Additionally, during homecoming each year, the Cullen Tower is open to alumni who may have missed signing during their time here at Southwestern. And here is the picture of the oldest known signature in the Cullen Tower. It dates back to 1912. I personally have no idea where it is. I always need to have Becky point it out to me when I'm up there. Otherwise, I can't find it. But I've seen it. And here's a dancing chicken to commemorate Dr. Howard, who taught English in the 1940s, who would frequently allow his cow to roam the football field. The football players got tired of their cow playing in cow poop, so as retribution, they stole his cow and placed it in his classroom on the second floor of Cullen. In 1957, a Volkswagen Bug was pulled up the stairs in the Cullen building as part of a senior day prank. And in the 1940s, one of the fraternities thought it would be amusing to place a goat up in the tower. And at the time, the only way to get up was by climbing a rickety ladder. And so it's funny that maybe one of the only things that hasn't been on the second floor of Cullen is a chicken. And we move on to pirate bikes. The bicycle nicknamed pirate bikes after the school's mascot were something that Heidi Meyer Curry felt would keep her brother Walter's memory and spirit alive. Today, the beloved fleet of bikes has more than tripled in size. Southwestern was the first university in Texas to offer such a free bicycle program. And I know they're locked up right now because of COVID, but I'm really looking forward to getting them back out next semester and being able to ride around on campus on our lovely yellow bikes. There are rules though, and they're not, the most important thing is that they're not to leave campus. And when you're done with using them, to place them somewhere around campus where they can be picked up by the next person. And it's everyone's responsibility to make sure we keep the pirate bikes together, and it's everyone's responsibility. So enjoy the ride and take pride in the pirate bike program. There's some rules that we share with the freshmen when they enter Southwestern to make sure that they are being good stewards of our pirate bikes. And so you can see them all here. And one of the best things about Southwestern is that you're encouraged to choose your own adventure through academic and extracurricular activities. There's approximately 100 student organizations, from scholastic and honorary societies to student government, sororities, fraternities, special interest groups, departmental organizations. Southwestern students stay busy. And this number may be a few years old, but it shows to prove that Southwestern students give back their time, talents, and treasures. Last year, this was just half the student population that reported this, and that was self-reporting, so that there was plenty more than this. And so when the students are encouraged, when they get that form to fill out their hours, to make sure the school knows about it so we can all get recognition for how much service and work Southwestern students do. And I guess I'm supposed to say, as the chair of the Student Philanthropy Council, and I want to share that Southwestern is unique in that you can give back monetarily to any part of the Southwestern experience. That's academics, athletics, any organization, or the pirate bikes. We encourage students to give back because over 95% of students receive scholarship of some kind. And in the past, about a third of students give back, with a huge percentage of the senior class making a gift in their final year at Southwestern. Another interesting facet of Southwestern is Greek life. It's been on campus for over 130 years. Might be time to bump that up a little. There are a few getting a little older than that. There's 6 national sororities and 4 national fraternities who participate in deferred recruitment, which means that the freshmen join in the spring. Greek life hosts many philanthropic and social events throughout the year. Although this year's a little funny. Okay, that's all I have for my slideshow. And so I'm going to stop so I can see everyone here. And I just want to thank you all for being here and ask if there's any questions.
Hey, Max, I have a question.
Yes.
Do we keep track of how many alumni service hours are being done? I know we keep track of student hours, but we used to have an alumni day of service every year that I haven't seen announced recently. But you know, I think that would be great if we kept track of all the alumni service hours and we reinstated the day of service as well, if that's something that has gone by the wayside.
I see Becky nodded her head. I'm not familiar with that. Megan?
I can answer a little bit. So we, Kendra, it's a good question. We track it. So we have about 1,300 alumni who volunteer for Southwestern on an annual basis. It's a lot of people. And that number has been growing and growing. The mentoring program through Pirate Connect has really helped see that increase, because we see a lot of alumni, who don't live locally. I mean, they could live anywhere in the world and still engage with students and support them on their career exploration, academic journey and such. And so we track that number. We try to create estimates of for those 1,300 alumni of how many service hours they're giving to the institution. I'll be honest, that we don't track how many service hours our alumni are giving outside of the institution, though. I mean, that's, part of it may be daunting for us to try to collect that type of information. It'd be interesting to see. I think that because Southwestern creates such a culture for for the common good, that I think we'd see that would be a really high number, even compared to other institutions, for that being the case. But we don't do that at this point. Our day of service, so several local chapters will hold a day of service, but they don't take place all on the same day anymore. And the reason for that is that with local chapters, their communities often will have a day of service of its own. So if they're maybe New York City would have a particular day of service, so the Big Apple chapter would pick that day for their day. Or Pacific Northwest, I see Jean nodding her head. Pacific Northwest, they might want to pick their day. And so we've left that up to the local chapters to hold their own, but it's certainly still something that's important for us to lift up and encourage for our alumni to engage in. Yeah.
Should I just go for it?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Okay, so I have 3 questions. One, how many living alumni do we have right now, Megan?
So I use the number 15,000,
Okay.
and that number is probably more of it's a little bit over 15,000 at this point, I would say.
That includes the ones that actually didn't graduate, correct?
Right, that includes non-graduates, but that's also more closely to our contactable alumni. We know there are alumni who we've lost contact with, that we don't have email addresses or phone numbers or mailing addresses for them to stay connected with the institution. So that number does not include those individuals. The Alumni Council is actually working on a project to help us bring back some of those folks. So Alumni Council, whom a couple people on this call are on the Alumni Council right now, including Max and Sherry and Alice, and I can't scroll through I think that's Dorothy's on the Alumni Council. So we just created a list of the individuals who are our lost alumni, and particularly around their year. So the Alumni Council is going to take a look at that list and see how they can help us reconnect. But I would say that's something we love for all alumni to do and help us, that you have we know that alumni from Southwestern keep these lifelong friendships, and that's a beautiful thing. So helping that connection is just as important, but we'd love for them to receive information from the institution to participate in things like this. And this virtual homecomings kind of allowed us to do that we've heard from some alumni that they've never been able to come to homecoming before because of geographic challenges, and they're able to with this platform. So we're keeping that all into consideration for the future too.
So my other brief question is, when did the 6th sorority come on campus? I was not aware we had 6 now.
So we have 6 chapters. So the 6th is Alpha Kappa Alpha, joined in 2015. And they're a historically Black sorority, part of the Divine Nine organizations. And actually here at 7 o'clock, the interview with Dr. Alicia Moore is going to be aired, that she is an associate professor of education. And she was instrumental in bringing AKA to campus, and she'll talk about the 10-year process that took place to make that happen. while we're on this call, I encourage you to watch Dr. Moore's interview. You can start at any point after 7 o'clock, but hearing her story, like I watched the interview be filmed and I just was so inspired. And it's just an amazing story of how AKA came to campus. So, yeah, but they were our 6th one to join.
And just if we're being technical, one of what you're calling a sorority is really a fraternity. Just if we're being technical.
Actually, two of them are. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So just technicalities. Being a scientist, I like to know the facts and the real facts.
What's the other one? Kenda and I know what one of them is, but what's the other?
Alpha Zeta Delta is also a fraternity.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Sorry, just had to throw that in.
And Sherry, you mentioned that you hadn't signed the tower when you were here. Well, we do offer times, at homecoming, but if you're ever in the area and you give me like a week's head's notice, I can probably get you in to sign the tower at a different time. Right now, we're doing very limited for seniors. They're having to sign up for appointments, and we only let 3 go up at a time. So it's taking a while to try to offer that to 300 graduates. And then the Friday before commencement, we're going to have offer that to the class of 2020 that didn't get up there to sign. But you can find times to sign it other than homecoming, because I know sometimes there's a lot going on at homecoming. So if you're in the area, let me know. Try to pick a pretty day because it's a great view.
So do seniors get to sign just because they're seniors now? Or I know it used to be they had to give a donation to get the opportunity to go up there, but they, just because they walk across the stage, they get that opportunity?
No, they actually don't. We do a minimum $10. We ask for a minimum $10 gift. That's
okay, good deal.
Our fundraiser for Student Philanthropy Council, which Max is chair of. We also, about 5 years ago, one of our students wanted to have an equal society, kind of like President's Society, and this is Tower Society. So they make a gift of their grad year. So this year's class is making a $20.21 gift, and they basically get notified ahead of time with special things going on campus, just like someone from the President's Council would. We haven't had a lot of things this year for the that class to celebrate, but they come up and sign. I don't ever let anyone not sign if they absolutely tell me they could not afford it. My thing with them is I said, I will let you go up, but I better not ever see you walking around campus with a Starbucks cup or anything else. And usually they find a way to magically have that $10. Right now, even with as hard of a year as it has been, we're at 58% senior giving.
Awesome.
And we really have a very strong student campaign. When they get in, we talk to them at orientation week about scholarships, and we do education points throughout the year. We don't wait until they're a senior to tell them about the importance of giving back, both with their time and financially. And a lot of our seniors this year, because we have so few going up at a time, we're actually able to really talk to them about how important that is. They love the fact that they can give to wherever they want. They can make a gift in honor of a professor or their parents, and we don't send anything out to professors until after they walk the stage. But I think Max knows people give to what they love. We had Day of Giving Pirate Bikes was the highest student organization or student philanthropy that was given to. So we had over 5 gifts for Pirate Bikes alone yesterday. So.
Now, I'm sure people have stories to share of traditions from when y'all were students, and we'd love to hear those too, because sometimes we don't know that if there is a informal tradition that maybe has continued over the years. So if anyone has any stories to share, please feel free.
Because we can add it to this. for next time.
I remember
I
that
don't
if,
Go ahead.
if you had to, if you wanted a picture, there was that big fountain right in the middle of campus. I don't know if it's still there, but to take a group picture with the fountain in the background or sitting around on the edge of it was really the neat thing to do.
Some of my thrall students come take their prom pictures on campus. I think that's really cool.
So can someone tell me what the difference was between sing song and sing? Somebody was saying they did sing song in the 60s.
I think that'd be Sherry would need to address that because we did sing started back. I thought it started when I came back, but Sherry could answer it probably.
Yeah, it looks like Sherry just stepped out.
Yeah.
I know we just called it sing, and the Student Foundation had gotten going, and that's when it restarted, I think. But Sherry might be able to answer that, but that was
Well,
when I was freshman.
I can answer for the 60s. We did do, and I didn't know it was called sing song, but it was sorority and fraternity competition. I remember Zeta's we had costumes. We wore blue granny nightgowns in one of our years. But I didn't know that there were the different names, but we did it. So
Someone mentioned it earlier in the comments. It's one of those things tracking down in yearbooks and stuff. We come up with different dates. So
I would ask Sherry. It sounds like she has more of a handle on it. I just assumed it had not happened, but it sounds like it did. So, and there's many stories about the SIGs, Max. Can you imagine?
Unimaginable.
Yeah,
have.
Be like one SIG would be in the competition, or very few. It was during our time.
It's almost like that this year we had a limited amount of people we could have on stage. So there was only 8 people this year. We would love to have more. Looks like there's a hand raised. Oh, that's fine. That's fine if you.
That's me.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm in the dark. I'm hiding in my bedroom with my beer. Cheers, everyone. Which relates to one of my tales. My maternal grandmother, so my mom's mom, who was there in the 40s, would lower her empty booze bottles out her window down to the grounds, and as long as she left a little bit in it, the maintenance guy wouldn't tell on her. Isn't that hilarious and awful and wonderful all at the same time? And people wonder where I get it. And Rosemary and Sherry might remember this. I don't know. My mom had a lamb in her room in LK that lived there, and they would shuttle it like between the bathroom when the housekeeper came and hide it in the other room, and then shuttle it back when she went to the next room.
it happened. It really happened. Yeah, I was part of helping shuttle.
I should ask her, do you remember, did the lamb have a name?
I don't remember. Pumpkin could tell you more about that too.
Yes. All my stories are not appropriate, so those are 2 I can tell.
Our sorority did a lot of Vaselining on doors during our time period. I don't know if any of y'all's other generation, we did a lot of Vaseline and pranks. So was that on toilet seats on our sorority sisters' doors? Was that happening in anybody else's time?
Oh yeah, we did. In fact, during my time as a pledge, something was done to us, and my room happened to get acetic acid on the door handle. Not fun.
And we do not promote that at all.
And I'm sure that was not a chemist that did that at all. No way that a chemist was able to get access to acetic acid.
Well, while we're on, we don't do that at all. Back in the day, Coors beer was only sold a certain point west of El Paso, but east of Georgetown. And so every time I'd come home and then drive back to school, I'd stop at that little shop and load the trunk with Coors and then get back. Too bad I didn't think to make a profit on it. Anyway, confessions of eras long gone.
It was just like Smokey and the Bandit, it sounds like.
Oh, goodness.
Did y'all talk about the Wahlberg Angel? I don't really remember, except it was supposedly, I should have Googled it before I even brought it up, but it was always a scary thing to like roll out to Wahlberg. And if you stopped in the cemetery, I don't know if she moved or, does anyone remember?
I remember a haunted house in a cemetery.
Okay, by October homecoming, I'll come up with something about the Wahlberg Angel and I'll let y'all know.
Dorothy, I remember hearing about it, but I don't remember what I heard.
Yeah.
I'm more familiar with some of the ghost stories. So.
Yes, does anyone have any ghost stories?
Well, I was in Alma Thomas all the time, so she was present there quite a bit.
Right. So the Student Philanthropy Council also helps with the History Union do the ghost tours off campus. We usually do it in October, and during a ghost tour, one Halloween week, the doors were opening and closing all throughout Alma Thomas when we were walking through.
And I just want to be clear, if anyone has doubts, Alma Thomas is definitely haunted. I have been touched and spoken to by that ghost. I believe it.
Yep.
I shared on one of the chats earlier this week, but there was a couple of, maybe like 6 years ago or so, there was a sing skit. We were doing rehearsals, and during the rehearsals, the organizations would practice on stage and we'd give them feedback and such. And one of the group skits, I think it was APO. I'm pretty sure it was APO. Their skit was about the ghost of Alma Thomas. That's what it was about. And the ghost, their skit was really cute and funny. And, she would show up on the balcony upstairs during the skit. I mean, this young woman had to be running around for this. So they practiced their skit, everything, it goes so well. Skit ends, everyone gets off the stage, and I'm not kidding, a light falls from the ceiling in the middle of the stage and just shatters on the stage.
I would have been out of there so fast.
Everyone just stopped. I mean, we had to clean up the glass and everything, but I've never experienced anything like that. It was the rehearsal. So it was the only group that was impacted by this was, I think it was APO, but APO, and then those of us with Student Foundation helping watch this. And so I'm glad it didn't happen actually during Sing, during the performance, but that was a unique moment in my life.
I wish I had an experience like that I could tell, but nothing's happened to me yet that I've been able to experience. But
I'm not sure you want it to happen to you.
I do. You
want something to fall on you?
Not fall on me, but I want to have some experience that I can share. Like one time when I was in Cullen, or something like that. But
I really like all of the bootlegging stories, because believe it or not, that's probably the third or fourth Southwestern bootlegging story I've heard.
Now, I do not think Cullen's haunted. When I was going back to school, I was up there at night. Megan knows I would stay till midnight some nights working on papers. But one night I left and it was late and I was parked on the side street of Cullen, and I was, I had my shoes off. I carried them down. I went out the front door and I heard a thumping noise, and I was like, well, that's weird. Somebody's going to come get me. And so I started walking faster, and it got louder, and I turned around and there were 4 deer running towards me, and they just split and ran around me. And then when I got in my car, after I almost got over almost having a heart attack, I got in the car to turn, and they ran in front of me on 29. I was just like, that scared me to death.
The campus deer are some of the most bold animals that exist. They have come up to me when they come in. They'll walk in packs. They will come within 10 feet of students, if not closer.
They like to sit outside a brooder on the lawn.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I can see them from my window.
It's
One
the
other
smell.
Dead crickets are drawing them. I don't know. The only other thing I thought about was, how you talked about walking across the seal and you won't graduate. When we were there, we had, if you went to Interspace Caverns, like you weren't supposed to go to Interspace Caverns before you graduated. And no one I know did. I was 40 before I went. Just to be safe.
I've heard that one too, and I really want to go to Interspace. And I think maybe because with a seal has taken away some of the power of Interspace Caverns.
It's a really cool cavern. I do recommend.
Yeah, I would say definitely go, Max. It is really cool.
That's one of the few Georgetown bucket list items I haven't done yet.
So if you want to hear stories about Interspace Cavern, you need to talk to Judge Billy Ray Stubblefield. He was, I don't know if he was, I think he was in the caverns or something when they were discovering it. I can't remember if he was there or near. I don't remember all the details, but I should email him and ask him. But I was a kid, a 5-year-old kid when they were digging it. And there was something that Billy Ray was connected when it happened. But anyway, it was a surprise. They didn't know that caverns were there. So, but Billy Ray has more. Megan, I'll try to investigate that for you.
So I have questions about all the pictures from campus prior to all the renovations, because I know like the Science Center, we used to have on the outside facing 29, there was this kind of oval shaped outside facade on the building, and it had a lot of different famous scientists listed, Max Planck and I can't even think of any right now. It's too late in the day for me, but there's just so many different things. And I actually had my senior, at that time, at least for our annual, I know they don't do annuals anymore, so I'm really dating myself, but we had senior pictures in front of specific places that we liked on campus. And mine was in front of that place on the science building. Well, the science building has gone through at least 5 renovations since I've been there. So that facade is absolutely gone. I'm just wondering, where do we have pictures of what the buildings used to look like? I know we do of, Cullen and stuff like that, but how do we find those things? Are they in the archives?
Yes, so you actually are letting me do a little advertisement, Kenda. We did not set this up. I want everyone to know this. The Office of Special Collections they have everything. I mean, they have photos from across the years and such. And something we just launched this week, we put it in the if you go to your Whova platform and look in the announcements section, there is an announcement about this, but we're rolling it out in small groups, but you can be part of our beta test. It's a photo gallery. Right now we're rolling out 2 decades of 60s and 70s, Special Collections has gone through old photos and slides. So some photos that were probably taken for the yearbook, but were actually never produced. And so we are uploading those to this, what's called Ponga. It's a website photo gallery that all of us will be able to look at the pictures, comment on the pictures, ask questions, share stories, which is what we're excited for. And there's Special Collections has so many photos of people in them, and we don't know who the people are. And we would love to have that information, and we know you all might help us be able to identify those individuals in the pictures for generations. And so Special Collections, I know she was putting more pictures in there today for those 60s and 70s, and we will add more albums to this site. This is not just for homecoming. We're going to have this for a very long time, but there are going to be pictures, Kendra, to what you're saying about the buildings and what they used to look like and some of those key features. One of the pictures that's in Ponga right now is from the library of, I guess, like the pit. There was the library had a pit area to it. And so again, some of those facilities and the key elements to them, we want to hear stories. We want people to add anything that they can. Now, those who have access to this site, it's just Southwestern, so this all stays internally. But any comments that are made, others will be able to see. So if people are sharing private stories, we'd rather they just know that others will be able to read those. Jean, what were you going to ask?
So my father did a lot of pictures in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, many of which don't have. And at one point I promised Grace I would get them to her, my slides. Who do I talk to?
I would talk to Megan Firestone.
Megan Firestone?
Firestone. People get the two of us confused because it's Megan F. But if you email Megan Firestone, she's
is she part of library Special Collections?
Special Collections. She's the director of Special Collections. She's been here a couple of years, and Megan's been great to have on staff because she loves diving into the history of it and how do we really use it. She's been bringing more students into Special Collections so that they have an interest in the materials there. And so I would talk to Megan to see.
Okay, because I have a lot of the families. My father took all the faculty with the kids for 15 years.
Oh,
so many of those nobody else has. So anyway, it's just a matter of me scanning them.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. So if you go to announcements and you just fill out a little form, it's the rest of my advertisement, my commercial, fill out the little form, then Special Collections will give you access to the Ponga site. So it's person by person. We didn't want to upload all alumni in it if people don't have an interest in it. But as we gain more albums, we'll let folks know that so that they can gain access to those albums too. Any other questions folks have for Max or one another?
And Jane, is your hand raised or is that just Jill from last time?
I heard that ballroom dancing was a class at one point. Did anyone take that?
I did. Freshman
How
year.
was it?
It was amazing. I can merengue and jitterbug. It was really fun. It was my only class with Dr. Kane, unfortunately. But we were in the gym, I guess the old gym, not the new fancy gym. And, you know, you're dancing with mostly girls because there were like 5 guys in the whole class. But I still use elements of that today. So if it ever comes back, take it. Except now y'all have yoga and fun stuff like that.
We even had ballet for a while. I took a ballet class.
Yeah,
I
luckily
just
I got into bar for next semester, but that's about it.
we had theater dance, and so we would. I was theater major, so of course we took that. And every single year, she ran out of time to teach tap, so I still don't know how to tap dance.
Dorothy, I took about 15 years of tap, so I'll teach you how to tap.
Let's hook up. Okay, good.
Absolutely, I still have my tap shoes.
Oh, here's another story. In the sub, the old student union building, there was the underground part called the alley. And when I was there was like ugly meeting rooms, but there was a little dark space where we had theater dance in there and did shows and stuff, but it used to be a bowling alley. And that's why it was called the alley. Fast forward 15 years or whenever it was, I'm with my now husband. He was in a band. They were shooting a video at a bar in Uland, Texas. And part of the place has these old, like 1960s bowling alley things where you type in your name and do the, it was old school, like a projector, like a overhead projector thing. Well, guess where those were from? The alley at Southwestern. So I'm freaking out, insisting that I must own one because they're about to tear the bar down or whatever. So we bought one randomly and shoved it in our garage for 10 years until we gave it to a friend of ours. Everything comes full circle.
Yeah, and Keith Jenkins had shared a story about the alley, and you're getting ready to bowl and you have like one pin left, and all of a sudden after you roll the ball, a hand comes down and picks it up because the pins were all hand set. After you knocked them down, then somebody had to be back there to put the pins in place for the next bowl. And it was loud.
I remember bowling there as a kid, and my brother needed one athletic class, so he took bowling, figuring it would be harmless. He hurt his finger. Oh. And he was a pianist, but he's a doctor. But anyway, it didn't do too. He had a splint on his finger. Go figure. But it was a fun alley.
A lot happened
Mark
there.
remembers and some others remember.
That reminds me, Jean, I took golf as my elective because, at the time I thought I was going to be a medical doctor, not a other kind of doctor. And I thought, well, I have to know golf because, that's what doctors do, not that they do anything else. But playing golf, I got hit in the head with a golf ball. So it's like, well, this isn't a harmless game.
That may be why the doctors do it together so they can take care of each other.
Exactly.
Well, I would say thank you all for joining, and let's thank Max for his presentation. Max has become a pro at sharing our traditions and some fun stories, but there's always something new that comes from having these conversations. The Student Philanthropy Council does share this presentation at orientation with all the new students so that they feel a connection to our history, and I think that's just one, it's beautiful that it's students sharing it with other students, and so it's creating that peer-to-peer education, but I think it's important for our students to celebrate some of the things that they can look forward to during their experience as undergraduates and their time afterwards. So thank you, Max, for sharing this now and at orientation again here in the fall. But we hope you all are enjoying your homecoming. I encourage you to go back and watch Dr. Moore's presentation here. If you have time tonight, it will be up. We have recorded this session and we will add it to our homecoming website for anyone who wants to watch it late as well. And they'll hear all of our stories. And so that's just part of the fun of this. But we hope you have fun with the rest of homecoming. Thank you.
Thank you to everybody.
Thank you.